Hey guys, it's Chuck with ChuckGuyett.com. How would you like to learn how to create video sales letters like the pros and do it in 10 easy steps? Now, if you said yes, stick with me for the next few minutes because I'm going to share with you a very simple 10-step strategy that's guaranteed to get you more sales and sign-ups starting with your very first presentation. Now, before we get started, if you're new to my YouTube channel, make sure you click on that little red button in the bottom right corner and also that little bell, and it'll give you an alert each time I post a brand new video. Now, if you're watching this on Facebook and you get value from this video, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a like and share it with somebody that you think would help. Okay, so let's dive in. When you first get started creating sales videos, it's easy to make it more difficult than it needs to be. Now, what I want to do is share with you on this video is how you can create professional looking and sounding video sales letters. Now, what a lot of people do when they first get started trying to make them, and this includes myself, is to create your slides for your presentation and then click the record button and start reading the slides. Now, the problem with this approach is it can be a real challenge to get through all of your slides without making any mistakes reading your sales copy or making them sound convincing. So what I'm going to do is share with you a simple 10-step plan that's going to make this as simple as ABC. Okay, our first step is to write the script. Now, when you write your script, you want to make it in such a way that it sounds like you're having an actual conversation with somebody. And a great way to know for certain if we sound okay is to read our finished script out loud. Because when we do this, we'll know if it sounds like it's the way we normally talk. Now, when we're writing our script, we also want to add personality to it so that when we go to read our script, it sounds more engaging. We can do this perhaps by bolding text or using all caps. We want to add extra attention to something, or maybe ... if you want to add a pause when you're going to read it. Now, there are times when you may want to add a small laugh, so you'd simply type in add small laugh or yeah, ha 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 into your script. And then you know that you're going to have to be making that small laugh at that time. You want to make your script as easy to read as you can, and when you go to record your script, I would suggest you use a font that's not too small. You want to make sure that it's easy for people's eyes to read, and I would recommend a size 14 or 16 font. Okay, so we've got our script written, and now it's on to step 2. Let's record it. Now, when you hit the record button, I would recommend you wait about 10 seconds before you begin to speak. This is going to give you time later on when you go to synchronize your audio with your slides. And when we wrote our script, we made little notes or highlights to remind us to use emphasis in certain places as well as pauses and laughs. So now it's time to use them as we go to record our script. And the great thing about recording yourself reading a script is that if you don't like the way it sounds, you can just do that portion over again. Now, it's really easy to make a mistake and miss it when you go to do your editing. And a really simple way to remove your mistakes when you go to do your editing is to simply clap 3 times, and that way you're going to know you made a mistake and that portion needs to be deleted. In step 3, you're going to edit your audio. And even though we're reading off of a script, there is a tendency for us to have pauses between our words, and that can make us sound tired. When we speak faster, the listener tends to be more engaged as he needs to focus more to hear what we say. When we talk slower, it's easy for our listeners to simply tune us out, and we don't want that. It's not uncommon when I do editing to be able to take at least 1 or 2 minutes off of a 15-minute recording simply by removing those pauses. So let's take a look at an audio with some pauses that I recorded, and I'll show you what I mean about removing them. Okay, I've got Audacity loaded up. It's a free audio editing software program. You can just simply go onto Google and just type in Audacity and you can pick it up. It's free. It's a great program. I've used it for over a decade. I just love it. There's ones you can pay for, but honestly, Audacity is amazing. So I've got a small clip of an audio that I had created that I was making and using for this presentation. So what I thought I'd do is just show you the unedited version of it. And you'll see on the screen here, there are big long gaps in this. This is what an audio looks like when you're talking. And then you'll see these great big spikes. You'll recall that I talked about when you clap your hands 3 times, it tells you that there was a mistake made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just simply play a piece of this back, and we'll get a chance to see what it looks like or sounds like when it's being played.
Now you can make your audio sound even better by using audio compression. This is where you take your recorded audio and shrink it by say 5 to 10%. Now you don't have to do this. You can make your audio sound even better by using audio compression. And this is where you take your recorded audio and shrink it by say 5 to 10%. Now you don't have to do this step because you've already removed the pauses from your recording.
Okay, so I've played that back, and you can see that obviously this part here is a mistake, so I'm just going to simply delete that. And now I'm at the beginning where it was playing, and we'll just go back there again and let's play it again.
You can make your audio sound even better by using audio compression. Now this is where you take your recorded audio and shrink it by say 5 to 10%. Now you don't have to do this.
Now these are what we call pregnant pauses. They're dead spots on the audio that don't need to be there. And I've actually taken a 10 to 15 minute video and deleted the dead spots and saved myself upwards of 2 minutes of recording. So you wouldn't think it's a big problem, but when you remove these dead spots, it sounds so much better. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight a small piece of this dead spot, and I'm going to cut that out. Let's go over here to the scissors, and then I'm going to come over here to this one and cut that out. And then I'm going to come over here to this one here. This is a big one. If you were talking directly into the camera and you had a dead spot, you're not going to lose people. But when you're recording audio for a slide presentation, these dead spots, they can absolutely kill your presentation. You're going to have people dropping off your video like flies just simply because they've lost interest in what you're saying. Okay, so let's just go back here again, and we'll just get it back to the very beginning. And we'll click play.
You can make your audio sound even better by using audio compression. And this is where you take your recorded audio and shrink it by say 5 to 10%. Now you don't have to do this step because you've already removed the pauses from your recording. It's just that by doing this, it makes it sound even better.
Okay, so I've got a couple spots here I still want to just take out a bit more. Delete that. And a space here. Cut that out. And let's go back and listen to it again.
You can make your audio sound even better by using audio compression. And this is where you take your recorded audio and shrink it by say 5 to 10%. Now you don't have to do this step because you've already removed.
See, that sounds an awful lot better.
It's just that by doing this, it makes it sound.
What it does is it sounds like you're more energized. You're more excited about what you're talking about.
Compress your laughter because that's going to make.
Okay, now I could go back here and delete this pause here too. But I think you get what you get is the idea of what we're doing when we talk about editing the audio, getting rid of the gaps. And again, if you see I've made a mistake here, there's some claps. I've clapped 3 times. So what I've done is I must have made a mistake somewhere in here, and I wanted to redo that. And that's a great thing about having these claps is that when you see them, they're so easy for you to go back and just simply crop out those mistakes. If you didn't have them, you might end up creating your finished product with those mistakes in there, and you're repeating yourself. So you might have redone a section of your audio, but you've repeated yourself several times, and you didn't even know it because you didn't have any markers to show that you'd made a mistake. Okay, so step 4 now is about compressing your audio, and you can make your audio sound even better using audio compression. And this is where you take your recorded audio and shrink it by say 5 to 10%. Now you don't have to do this step because you have already removed the pauses in your recording. It's just that by doing it, it simply makes it sound even better. If you do decide to use audio compression though, you want to make sure that you don't compress your laughter. You might end up with a weird chipmunk laugh. And I would also want to mention that while compressing audio is great to do, you don't ever want to compress your video because your video is going to look like it's been sped up. Okay, so we've got our script written and our audio is now recorded and edited. So we're ready to do step number 5, which is to create our slides. Now, when we create our slides, there are a few things that you need to be aware of. First of all, your slides don't have to be as detailed as your script. there may be things that you want to say that are beyond what your slide has on it. It's important to make sure that your slides are easy for your viewer to read, so you need to avoid using large blocks of text or using a font that's too small to read. When we create our slides, we can use a sentence with or without bullets, or maybe a slide with just one word on it, like the word warning, for example, to get your viewer's attention. Number 4, you can add animation to your text. So for example, you could have your text drop down from the top, or your text could slide in from the side, either from the left or the right, or maybe even just fade in. Okay, in step 6, what we're going to do is combine our audio track with our slides. So what you need to do now is to play your audio and then begin recording your slide presentation. Simply synchronize your slides with your audio by clicking through the slides and animations as your audio is playing. Now, because your audio is already recorded, you don't have to worry about any noises being recorded while you're recording your slides, since you're not going to keep your slides audio track anyway. Step 7 is where we combine our completed audio with our recorded slides, and this is a simple thing to do, since all we need to do now is place the start of our audio track at the beginning of our slide presentation. Now, since this is a slide presentation, you never have to be in front of the camera. The great thing though is you always have the option of adding a short video of yourself explaining what the video presentation is going to be about. Maybe you want to add a personal call to action at the end of the video. Okay, so step 8, and this is the last step that we have to complete before we do our final recorded copy, which is to add a musical background. Again, this is an optional step, and it may not even be necessary depending on how you're going to be using this presentation. For example, if this is going to be used in an evergreen webinar, having a musical background wouldn't even make sense. On the other hand, if this is part of a sales funnel, then having a musical background would make your video much more engaging. Okay, step 9 is where we're going to hit the final record button. And once we've completed our project, you're going to want to watch it yourself. I can't even begin to count the number of times that I've done this and found that I had to do it over again simply because I'd missed something. Okay, step 10 is optional, but it's recommended for bigger projects. Send your completed slide presentation to a group of people that are close to you and get their thoughts. It's amazing how the people in these inner groups can give us amazing feedback about things that jump out at them that we totally miss. Well, I hope you got value from this training. And again, if you're new to my YouTube channel, make sure you click on that little red button in the bottom right corner and also that bell, and it'll give you an alert each time I post a brand new video. And again, if you are watching this on Facebook and you got value from it, I'd really be grateful if you shared this training with someone that you thought it would help. And also give it a like. I wish you all the best with your marketing efforts. You take care and have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.